Episode 10 of the podcast. I am back. Apologies for the delay. But basically, when I got back from Turkey, I got sick, very sick. I got salmonella. So it's a type of food poisoning. Picked it up, I think, in Istanbul airport. And then for basically through Monday to Friday last week, I was bedbound and it was pretty ugly. But I am recovered now and I'm back in the office. We have a lot to go through, stuff that's happened the last 2 weeks. So I thought I'll start with the hiring process for the e-commerce growth assistant. It's proving to be a little bit more struggling or a little more challenging than we initially thought. So we had like a good lot of candidates through, a lot dropped off because we had a task and people either didn't like the task or didn't want to put the effort in. So I guess if you cast a wide enough net, people jump through the holes and they'll fall off the process, which is not a bad thing. Those people who dropped out weren't right for us, but when we got down to the final few, I was struggling to choose between them because I didn't think anyone had strong enough problem solving. So then we went back and we've now created a test for the candidates to go through. It's from Test Gorilla, it's called the company, and it's a rapid cognitive index test, which is basically just testing problem solving under time conditions, both numerical, verbal, and reasoning. So it seems very complex. Like I've done it myself, and I scored like pretty low on it, and I have a good formal education background. I've got a few of my friends to do it, and they've scored. So it's kind of gives like a benchmark to see where candidates should be at when they come in and go through it. And so when now not all the candidates have sat it, we've only rolled it out in the last 24 hours, but when those results come in, then we'll probably use it to select the candidate that we want, because the project was good from everyone, interviews were good. The one thing I really want from this role is someone to come in. I know it's a graduate entry role, but I want them to have high ceiling, high potential, because ultimately I want this person to lead growth for our company in 2, 3 years' time. So you have to have a lot of potential to grow and learn and problem solve. So we shall see what the outcomes like. I think I really like this way of testing because it benchmarks people and it does it in a manner that is not subjective for myself. So I probably will roll it out going forward across other roles. A question I got from David off our last podcast was, how did we meet the suppliers? And I thought it was a good point, because meeting trustworthy suppliers is very, very hard. And I would say we're not like fully 100% there with our suppliers by any means. So, especially in our game, like it's quite a unique supply chain. That's what makes it quite hard to get into our business at scale. So, how we met our current suppliers was a bit of fortune. We, our main supplier, they messaged us offering to sell us jerseys. And so that conversation happened about a year ago. I was actually away on holiday at the time, and I remember Connor on our team messaged me and being like, a guy messaged us offering to sell us jerseys. Would you take a look? And we did an initial deal. It went well. And then we did a few more deals and it kept going well. And it just built momentum like that. But before then, we used various suppliers. We were less concentrated and it was less reliable, I would say, as a result. So that was a lot of like just a numbers game, like reaching out to people asking, can we buy your jerseys? If so, what's the price? And often the price didn't work for us. We're very fierce on like having price. because this is actually what our supplier in Turkey says. He says, profit isn't made in the marketing, profit is made in the buying, which is largely true. Like the cheaper you can get your cost of goods in e-commerce, the more profitable you can be, the more room you have to spend acquiring customers. So this was good fortune. A person came into us, but I would say it was because also we had 150,000 followers on Instagram. We're widely known. We are a big brand, so I think a big brand, a big presence helps you. If you don't have that, then it's just reaching out to people. Like I remember one of the first deals that I did in this company was with Pacific FC. And Pacific FC, if people don't know, are a Canadian team in the first division over there. They had leftover stock from their past 2 seasons, maybe. And I did a deal. It was not even many shirts, it was like 200 jerseys. And how I landed that was because I literally just looked up every team in the Canadian First Division. I just emailed their club stores from their uh, club websites. I just found the email and just emailed them. I didn't even find like the person who ran the commercials on LinkedIn or anything like that. Like I hadn't discovered that at this stage. I was just emailing the club shops, and he came back and did a deal. So I think it's just a numbers game in terms of build your own brand presence and then also build your like outreach. Another thing that happened in Turkey, I dropped my laptop literally on the first day when we arrived. I didn't like it wasn't a choice to drop it. Basically, my bag has a slip in it where you put the laptop in, and I didn't zip it up fully. And so when I got out of the taxi, the laptop came out of the bag and it smashed. So now I used to be on Windows. I've just bought a Mac and I'm adjusting to it. This is the first time I've got a MacBook. So the operating system and stuff like that's very different. It's taken some time to get used to, but I thought two reasons why I got a Mac. I'm on Apple product for pretty much everything else. Like I've got Beats earphones, Apple phone, so it just made sense for me. And then second of all, Apple Care, it's 60 quid a year, and I always break my laptop somehow. Like I broke the previous laptop twice by just standing on it, like standing on my bag, and then it broke the screen. And then I think I dropped it again and it broke the screen. And each time, like repairing the screen was like 250 quid. So just having Apple Care where it's 60 quid and I can get unlimited repairs basically for free suits me. So yeah, I am now on Mac. We just got feedback as well there on pop-up that we were looking at for the city airport. We went out there about a month ago and had a good meeting with them, and then they offered us potential pop-up. We were quite keen to do that, but it looks like it won't go through because of getting IDs. So to get IDs for employees, you need 8 weeks, I think, because they call it airside, so you have to go through the security checks at the airport every day if you work there. So that looks like it's unlikely to happen, which is a bit of a bummer. But we are looking at ways that we can get our vending machine in there long term. We've got the claw machines all ordered. The vending machine is taking a time to get designed. It's kind of annoying me, and I might have to look at a new manufacturer now because even though this manufacturer is like the best vending machine manufacturer in China, they don't have really good communication at all, which is worrying. But yeah, when we do get that machine ordered, it probably will go into the city airport. I don't know where, but that'll be a good start. I'm also exploring getting a company vehicle. So I was thinking of getting a van because we'll have different machines and we'll need to fill them up with stock. And then also we'll need to transport the machines to different locations. And for pop-ups, it would be good as well. So then I was figuring out like what's the best way to buy a vehicle through the business, and do we buy like a second hand? So basically, I was looking at a transporter that's second hand, cost 20,000. you could sell it in like 3 years' time for like 6,000 less. And so depreciation then only works out at like 200 per month. I was thinking, is that like the best way to do it as a business expense, so that you're only really writing down 6k in value, and we probably would get 6 grand in value if we have the machines and if it's been used to drive out to the machines every day and it's delivering pop-ups and stuff like that. And then finally, one we were looking at is an actual store. So there's a space that's become available in the city centre beside Nomadic Watches, and it works out at about 3.7k with rent and rates per month. I don't think we'd make profit on that with somebody working there. So you'd need to find a new way to work it. Whether you could like work the space that you have a barber shop in it as well as the store, or that you could like, my ideal scenario is that you could like basically turn it into a bit of a sports bar where you have the games on. You could like somehow sell alcohol, and you could also sell jerseys. And then maybe you have a barber shop. So it's basically just like an ultimate bloke shop. But easier said than done. It is a great location right beside City Hall. Um, know the guys at Nomadic, so it would be nice neighbours to have and a bit of prestige. But I don't think you can make the numbers work as it is. I think that's all for this week. I've got a few things to touch on more technically next week about subscriptions in the US and probably basketball and how I've been performing. But I'll leave that for next week because I need to get this weekend's data back, I think, before I can make any firm judgments on it. I appreciate all the support and I apologize for missing last week. Just the illness got me, which is really rare. I'm never normally sick at all, but it happens. Food poisoning. We're back anyway. We're and we're aiming for a big Q4. Thank you.